The next one is security attacks. There are two types of security attacks are there. The first one is called as passive attack. The second one is called as active attack. A passive attack attempts to learn or make some use of information from the system but does not affect the system resource. Passive attack is just like a listening or eavesdropping. Which type of transmission is just transmitted going on. Okay, in passive attack, it just try to learn what type of information is just transferred in a network, and he is not doing any harm to the sender as well as destination. It does not affect the system resource. In the second type of attack, active attack, an active attack attempts to alter the system resources or affect their operations. It tried to affect the sender as well as the receivers. The active attacks are doing some harm work to the sender as well as receivers. They modified some of the data. They try to change something in both parties. They are called as active attackers. Now, the first one is called as passive attack. The passive attacks are the nature of eavesdropping or monitoring of transmission. You see here, in my example, I have taken this example here. Bob is the sender, source. Alice is the receiver, destination. Okay, now they are doing some communication by using some unreliable network called as internet. So this internet can be accessed by anybody. Now one person is there called as Dart. He is the hacker or intermediate persons who is just try to learn or just try to modify whatever the transaction is going on here. Okay, in the passive attack, what happens is the Dart or the third person just monitoring or eavesdropping, means he just monitor what type of information is transmitted here. It never modifies the data. Such type of attack is called as passive attack. In that type of attack, they have two types of passive attack: release of message content and traffic analysis. These are the two techniques. Now the first one is called as release of message contents. Whenever a telephone conversation is going on, or email, an electronic mail message, and a transferred file may contain sensitive or confidential information. You are doing some telephone, you are using some email, or you are doing some any other network feature where you are transfer some sensitive or confidential information, and somebody is in between sitting and listening or just viewing all your email work or listening all your telephone conversation. Okay, thus such type of attack is called as release of message contents. Okay, now this diagram explains you. A sender is there. Okay, a sender, whenever send any message to a receiver B, okay, the third person just read the content of the message from A to B. You just read the content. If you send any text in a plain text format, you can easily read what information or sensitive information you are sending to B. We would like to prevent an opponent from learning the content of this transmission. You have to prevent it, that the third person cannot see whatever the information we are sending. We have to prevent it. For that one, our plain text is there, no, or any data is there, it is encrypted. Encrypt means the data which is not readable, scrambled. The data which is in a scrambled format. It's not easy for the intermediator to identify it. Only the sender and receiver can recover the data. Original data is seen by only the party A and B. A and B can receive the data properly, but it's not visible to the C. That is called as encrypted format. By using some mathematical formula, we encrypt the data and send it to the destination. Okay. Now the traffic analysis. Traffic analysis means here it's an indirect method. Here the contents are masked by applying some encryption algorithm. The sender sends that information with encrypted format, scrambled format. But an opponent still might be able to observe the pattern of these messages. The opponent would determine the location and identifying of communication host and could observe the frequency and length of messages being exchanged. This information might be useful in guessing the nature of the communication that was taking place. Now, see here, the same here, A is sending the data to B, but the A is a little bit intelligent here. What he will do, he just encrypt the data, scramble the data and send it to the B. B can recover that data, okay, and see the content. This information which is transmitted in the internet, which is not readable format here. So the C, what he will do, he tried to recover, he tried to get some knowledge. The message comes from which sender, the message goes to which receiver, or he will identify the frequency and the length of the message, so that which message is very, very critical. Sometimes what happens, the message is sent entire in encrypted format, sometimes partially encrypted format. Only critical information is encrypted and the remaining normal data is not encrypted. It's a normal text. So we'll just judge which part is very, very important. Okay, that is possible with the use of traffic analysis. Traffic analysis is used to just guess what type of information, what type of transaction is going on between A and B. He cannot read the message properly, but he can guess what type of information is going on. So these are the two passive attacks. Next we learn here. Okay, now some more information about passive attack. Passive attacks are very difficult to detect because they do not involve any alteration in the data. These passive attacks are very difficult to detect. If two persons are communicating in a telephone conversation, it's very difficult who is hearing that our conversation. Okay, because they do not involve any alteration of the data. The third person cannot modify, just listen whatever your transaction is going on, whatever the communication is going on, just listening. So it's very difficult to detect. Typically the message traffic is sent and received in an appropriately normal fashion, and neither the sender nor the receiver is aware that the third party has read the message or observed the traffic pattern. However, it is feasible to prevent the success of this attack, usually by means of encryption. To prevent the eavesdropping, we are using a technique called as encryption. We learn this encryption detail in the future classes. Thus, the emphasis in dealing with passive attack is on prevention rather than detection. Now, we are using a technique called as prevention rather than detection. So we encrypt the data and send it to the sender. So this is a passive attack. Now the next type of attack is called as active attack. In active attack, the attacks involve some modification of the data stream or creation of the false stream. Here the attacker modified the data which is sent by the sender, or he will create a false stream, its own stream, send it to the destination. Okay, now it is divided into four parts: masquerade, replay, modification of messages, and denial of services. The first one is called as masquerade. The masquerade takes place when one entity pretends to be different entity. Masquerade attack usually include one of the other forms of attack, active attack. For example, authentication sequences can be captured and replayed after a valid authentication sequence has taken place. Okay, now what is the meaning of here masquerade attack? Here the attacker C first identifies some authentication property. He just captures some of the authentication property of A. That means he just capture some username, password, some other information, critical information from A. He capture it. Okay, once you got this property, he will create or he'll just try to log in authenticated manner. He access the service of B in authenticated manner. Means he will send some message. He sends some message by pretending like a A. He send one the login message to B. Okay, just imagine B is the server and C is the attacker. Now the C pretends like a and send some login message to B, providing username and password of A. Okay, the B here receivers think that A is trying to access the system and gives the permission, because whatever the information provided by C is authenticated messages. So B thinks it's sent by A and give the permission. Sometimes this attacker also requests for higher privileges. Then this B is also giving some extra privilege to C, because B think that C is requesting, A is requesting here, not a C. C is pretend like a and take more privileges from the B. So such type of attack is called as masquerade attack. Okay. Next one is replay. Replay involves the passive capture of data unit and its subsequent transmission to produce an unauthorized effect. Now, in this case, A tried to access some service from B. Imagine A is a client and B is a one server. He tried to log into the system. A is tried to log into the system, so he will provide some login information here, like username, password, all will be entered one by one, and by using some proper steps he log into the systems. By using some proper systems he log into the B. That all information which is given to B is recorded by this C. What the attacker will do, he capture the message he capture the message which is sent by A. Every steps he just record it. Okay, in later stage he just replay that captured message. Whatever the steps he given here, it is just replayed by the C, and the B thinks that actually that message is given by A here. Whatever the login tried to access is actually done by C here, but it gives the permission here. Okay, B gives the permission because it's a login message, valid messages, authenticated messages sent to the B. So it will give the login permission. This is called as a replay. Replay means record the proper messages from A. Once it is done, same message is transferred to B. If you see the diagram, you should understood what is the meaning of replay. Then next one is called as modification of messages. Simply means that some portions of a legitimate message is altered, or that message are delayed or reordered to produce an unauthorized effect. For example, a message meaning allow John Smith to read confidential file accounts. Now this message is sent by the source A. Allow John Smith to read confidential file accounts. Now the intermediator C modifies it. What he will do, instead of John, just change the name to Fred Brown. Here the destination has given the permission to Fred Brown instead of John Smith. The information for reading that information, confidential file, can be downloaded or accessed by Fred Brown because he modified the data. This is called as modification of message. Now see, a sender send a data. It is received by C here. It is captured here. It's not delivered to B here. He modified the data. Whatever the data is sent by A, it is directly, it never goes to B. It is go to attackers. The attacker modifies the data first. Then it will send to B. It contains some modified version of message here. This type of attack is called as man in the mid attack. The next one is called as denial of service. Prevents or inhibits the normal use or management of communications facilities. This attack may have a specific target. For example, an entity may suppress all messages directed to a particular decision. Security audit service. Another form of service denial is the disruption of an entire network, either by disabling the network or by overloading it with a message so as to degrade the performance. In simple way, what is the meaning of denial of service? Now see this diagram. A is trying to access, but the C actually blocks the server. He continuously send the letter or a message to server. The A cannot access the server. So this type of attack is called as denial of service. Active attacks present the opposite characteristics of passive attacks. The passive attacks are difficult to detect, but the active attacks are difficult to prevent because our systems have some loopholes, vulnerabilities. We cannot prevent it because the third persons are very intelligent person. They are just identify our vulnerabilities, system vulnerabilities, try to attack it. Here it's difficult to prevent active attack absolutely because of wide variety of potential physical software and network vulnerabilities. Instead, the goal is to detect active attack and to recover from an disruption or delay caused by them. Our aim is to detect the active attack. If any active attack occurs, we try to recover our data and try to prevent it. If the detection has a deterrent effect, it's also contributed to the prevention.